Okay, welcome. We're going to start with sketching this head. The first step always is to start with a sketch of your work or some idea that you have to go here. You can see that I've already labeled all the dimensions to this. And so after you label the dimensions, the next step is to go ahead and code it. So we're going to set color, and we're going to start with a body rectangle. And from there, we're going to move on and we're going to get some eyes real quick. And then after the eyes, we're going to go ahead and make the nose. And after the nose, get a mouth. And then, boom, we have a robot. And you'll notice that the robot is not quite the size we want. So go back to the sketch and redo. So here we are at the sketch. We're just changing the units. First time we drew it so that the scale was 20 pixels per square. Now we're just changing it to 5 pixels per square, keeping the same 150 by 150 starting point, and just going through and changing all our numbers. Once we get done, that will make this next step a whole lot easier. All right, given that the sketch was too big, the first step is just to redo all numbers. Given that we have the instructions in front of this piece of paper, this is pretty simple. First thing we do is change the size of the background. Then we move both of the eyes, making them both smaller, and they need to be in a different position. And so, again, they're going to go from 40 by 40 to 10 by 10. Pretty simple. Triangle's pretty fun. So we just, with our new coordinates that we worked on the triangle, we go ahead, type them in, and Bob's your uncle, we have new triangle. Finally, we move the mouth around, set its new size, and we are done. Okay, so you have your blocky head on the screen. But, well, we might want to do some things with it. Maybe I might want to have more than one. That's easy enough. I just take all the code that I have right here and retype it and change all the numbers and have to go back and figure out where all those numbers. That's a lot of work. What if I want to move it to a different place? Oh, that's no big deal other than I just have to change all the numbers again. I mean, I don't have to change the size elements, but I have. Sounds like a lot of work. Maybe I want to change the colors. Maybe I want to change the size, make it bigger or smaller. That's the story for another day. But the first two issues can easily be solved with using what is called a function. So let's just get started on that. So let's create a function. You already noticed that we already have two functions up here, so just create another one. This is, by the way, in JavaScript, so not that hard to do. What are we going to call it? Draw head. Okay, pretty cool. And we use our brackets. Let's take all the code that we have written. Pretty simple. We can just cut it. We can paste it. And nothing. I didn't do anything different. I still have my code here. Well, the reason it's not working is I have created the function, which are the instructions how to do something. I just haven't used it. So earlier, I was going through all these lines of code and using them to draw my head. Now, I've created a set of instructions. I have the screwdriver. It's like I've made a screwdriver, but you got to use it. And that's really simple to do. You just call your function. Draw head. And, syntax error. Line 23. Oh, that's because there's an extra character there. Somehow, when I'd copy and paste, there's an extra character there at the end. But anyway, there's my head. Cool. But we're going to need to do a little bit more to make it. So I have a function, and I could call this function multiple times. Draw head, and it's not going to do anything. Well, actually, it is doing something. It's drawing the head right on top of each other. So I'm going to need to know a way to make this function work. I don't know, give the head an X, Y coordinate system. Now, remember, the origin when you're doing computer graphics is up here at the top at 0, 0. So 0, 0 is here. So we have a positive X going this way and a positive Y going in the downwards direction. This is different than in your algebra class. This is different than your math class. Here's what we're working with. And I have all the coordinate systems here, but we want to change things up a bit. We want to make this my X and this my Y, which means that we need to reference everything in here to X and Y. The size can stay the same, but everything needs to be referenced to that. So we just need to go through that. So again, I'll just demonstrate here on the eye. We know that this is, each of these squares is in this drawing 5 pixels. So this is 10 over and 10 down. So no longer is that at position 160. It's at x plus 10, y plus 10. So now you can see that we're using some variables here to make this work. And so again, applying the same logic, 10, 20, 30, this is at x 30 over from my reference point, right? It's 30 over and 10 down. Okay.
So before we go back to the code, let me just real quickly go through here and reference all my points. The triangle, now that's going to be the tricky one because I need to reference all 3 points. But down here, again, we are 10, 20, 30, 40 down. So that's y plus 40 down. And 10 over, so that's x plus 10. So here on the triangle, so 10, 20, 25. So we're 25 over. So this is x plus 25. And again, instead of y plus 35, y plus 25. And x plus 15.
Okay, so now that we have this finished, what we need to do is then translate this into our code. First step is to then create some variables. So let's do that. Okay, so just to kind of give you a heads up, how's this going to work? So if we say x position here, and we use our variable x position, and we use the other variable y position, things are going to be broken terrible because it doesn't know where these are. But this allows us to now draw our head wherever we want. Now, here's the problem. The rest of the body is not there. Let's go ahead and draw a second head just so you can see what's going on. Let's say 90, 250. Okay, notice I have now 2 heads, but the rest of all the elements in the head are not in relationship to that. So that's what we got to work on now. So we just go back to our diagram and cue the montage music. We can now go and draw as many heads as we've drawn. So, I don't know, let's go at 210. Again, so each time we add, we can just draw another head. I mean, we can get a little crazy here. Let's create a whole bunch of heads. So let's just make a loop for I equals 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, let x equal
random, and then we need to make that a little bit bigger, so times y.
And because it's in the draw loop, every time we go through the draw loop, we got 10 random heads appearing. Kind of fun. There's one last quick thing I want to show and before we go on, but you can see that using this function, we've created a function here. We've called the function. So we can take the mouse's position and now just draw the head wherever the mouse is. So a little quick introduction to functions.